How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for willing to do this.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, for having me on.
Yeah, so I could just jump around a little bit before getting to metaphor.
Yeah,
So the
cool.
first thing I can ask is, was acting always something you wanted to do for a job?
Um, in a way, although the other day my mum reminded me that every time I was asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, a hairdresser. So as a kid, maybe not, but I think I was a very quiet child. So my parents were advised to put me in like a drama group to try and bring me out of myself. Um, and then little did we know that it was going to turn into my passion. So from then on, I guess it was something I always wanted to do. And then I started to seriously think about it when I was 17, 18, I guess. Yeah.
Did you go to school for it too then?
Yeah, I went to drama school. I went to a performing arts school, the Brit School in the UK, and then from there went on to drama school. So yes, trained for it.
Is there a special story of the job that got you into equity too then?
Into equity. Well, because I went to drama school, I guess it's the standard way of um going to drama school gets you instant access to Spotlight, which is the acting database. And then alongside that, I think you just apply to equity to save your name, preserve your name or something. And so I don't think there was a job. It's probably just the drama school training that got me onto that. So
Okay.
no special job.
I know that since you're in New York now, what inspired that move?
uh Change, seeing what I can do anywhere in the world. Um yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that I'm a free spirit. I hope I am, but just trying something somewhere else. I'm still kind of in the transition period. To be honest, all my work is still remotely with the UK. So I've yet to like fully branch out into the US. So we'll see what
Okay.
that brings.
Are you not part of SAG yet then, or?
No, no. That I mean, it just seems like a beast from the UK where everything is kind of one well there's yeah, SAG is one organization, but it feels a lot smaller in the UK with like equity and Spotlight. Just feels a lot bigger here. So I feel like I have to do a lot more research and then and then we'll see. And
Yeah.
I know that there's like multiple jobs that you can do before you get SAG and yeah. So we shall see.
Well, it was fun to see the one of your credits being in the recent Garfield movie.
Yeah, yeah, which I still need to watch and see how that works. Yeah. Um, yeah, there's so many different things that you can do as a voice artist. Like that's what I love about it. And I'm really pleased that I've been able to like branch out into things that I really love, which is as close to acting as possible. Um, because in voiceover I started more like commercial side, but now doing games and animation and things like that is just a dream, pretty much.
Was there something that happened to that made you grow a bigger affinity for voice acting opposed to live action work?
I'm not sure that I mean, yeah, my love for it has grown because it wasn't where I started. Um, I still feel like they're on par with each other, but voice was something I was interested in after I graduated from drama school and then was just lucky enough to be able to create a reel and get an agent and then start working in it. And then when you realize the world of voice is quite broad, and then you're like, oh, I'd like to do that and do that and do that. And then doing games, I was like, this is so freeing. It's almost like doing theatre, even though games are more and more like screen now. They're becoming a lot more naturalistic and things like that. Um, so yeah, it's just the similarities that grew my interest and love for it, I think.
Mm. Are you for voice work too? Are you more so getting hired for your natural voice, or do you alter it significantly for very many things?
Um, I would say more for my natural voice, but I do actually work in different accents quite a bit. Um, But yeah, I do think a lot of the time when I hear my jobs, I'm like, that's my voice. It's just slightly heightened this way or that way. But yeah, it's mostly my natural voice, I think.
Are you comfortable hearing yourself in performances too then?
I've got no choice anymore. You have to you have to listen back, whether it's like a demo that you're sending and you have to hear it back to make sure it's ready to send. I just got so used to it because I know that feeling that everybody has, especially with voice notes nowadays. People are like, oh, I don't like leaving voice notes because I hate the sound of my voice. I think I'm really numb to that. Um, I have to listen to my voice. So yeah, it's all right now.
Hmm. One thing I do always like asking voice actresses, if you do boy voices, like what your process for that specifically is.
Boy voices.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's just like loosening up a bit. I don't know, like maybe like make it rougher. Um, I'm trying to think of the last thing I did, which was yeah, it's just it's like a rougher quality, but it's okay to sound like a girl as well. Like it's a strange thing where lots of women do boys' voices because it's still got that young quality.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it's more just a rougher, looser, like throaty thing, if you
Yeah.
can manage that and maintain it for as long as a voice session lasts. That's the other thing, stamina you need. But yeah, I think it's whenever I think of doing a boy voice, it's just drop it in here, rough it up, loosen up, and make it like boyish, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. Yeah.
Has there been a case with like a larger character you played with voice work where it was difficult to sustain a voice?
I actually don't feel like I've had that experience. The most difficult thing is when you get to effort noises, especially for games, when you've got a whole session full of how many ways does your character die? And then they're jumping from this ledge to that ledge, and you have to maintain that sort of thing, but never a character voice. I guess because I'm really conscious of making sure that I make a choice that doesn't cause any damage. Also, it's something that I can maintain because you don't want to waste recording time by doing a voice and then halfway through you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, you have to really think about that and make a wise choice. And then the great thing about working with in these studios is that they are also trying to look after you. So they will let you know if I'm not sure if that is that scratch natural enough for you. Can you maintain that? So yeah, you're being looked after, but you also have to think.
Does sort of tie into that. What do you think the darkest headspace you've had to go for voiceover is?
Hmm. Well, I mean, most of the things I do, and I guess because I have a natural leaning towards more serious things, I end up doing roles that have very serious parts in it, at least. Um, one of the jobs I just did, which I guess I can't really talk about, my character dies. And so I had to go into that place. What does it mean to be at the end of your life? Um, yeah, I can't talk about the story, but yeah. Um, and then these huge worlds with games, there's always so much drama around a character anyway. So animations that I've done, they've got such a huge story with all this fantasy stuff going on, and then a history with all the other characters. I guess that um, one of the animations I've recently done took me to a dark headspace because of the history of the character with the other characters.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah.
No, yeah,
Um, I can't pick out one particular thing. Yeah.
Well, this might be obvious too then, but do you prefer working on more dramatic projects over comedic?
Um, I feel bad when I say that. Over comedic, yes, but that is also because I have just realized in like the last few months that I've never given myself much of a chance to do comedy. When I was training, I was like, oh, I'm not a comedy actress. I just can't do it. I don't have the timing or whatever. But it is something that can be learnt and studied. So I have since done some comedy and been like, this is great. Like as long as you get into that place, and it's not about trying to make people laugh. That's the key, I guess. Um, it's a fun space to be in. But yeah, generally, I'm a serious. That's what I chase, the drama.
Well, that's one of the reasons why people in the fandom like Brigitta so much is because she has such a big love for her dog and she's so serious up front.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, I guess, a slight comical like element that she's got this. She's very serious, mysterious, guarded, and then she has a dog that she's taking care of, which shows that she's, soft on the inside, caring. Um, but yes, I think she says some funny things about the dog. I can't really remember the lines, but there was one line that I thought was quite funny, which showed both sides in one about her dog.
Was Metaphor a pretty general audition for you when it came up?
Yeah, standard audition, read the brief, say the lines that you're given, and then see what happens. And luckily, yeah, I did really like the character from the brief and the lines that I saw, but I wasn't. You have a really great brief description, but you still don't know what it's for or what it's about. And yeah, so it just gives you the freedom, I guess, to create the character that you think. And then if you get the job, you're guided in the sessions. So yeah.
Were you very aware of anime or like anime video games prior?
I not really. I
Yeah,
guess anime, the typical ones that people would mention is like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z.
yeah, yeah.
That's the standard ones. Um, aware of those and probably watched them when I was young or whatever, but not too much interest. And have tried or have always promised myself to watch, some movies and things, but haven't yet. But I know I would like it. I just need to commit. Um, yeah,
What do you think of when you saw her design for the first time then?
that she's cool, of course. Very cool looking. Yeah, like that's one of the things that inspires you and excites you to get a role. When you see the design of the character and you're like, oh wow, I wouldn't mind being that person. I think that's the great thing about doing games, animation, because acting is great in that you can become anybody, but when it's something that's created from scratch, image-wise and appearance-wise as well, it's like very cool because you completely transform. So yeah, I love the style, the look.
Some of the people in the fandom asked if you would ever cosplay her for anything, do you think?
That would be a first, but of course, yeah, why not? Yeah.
Which which aspects of her could you relate the most to then?
Um, I would say that we're quite different in character, but I guess, well, most people would probably relate to the fact that she's just trying to get along in the crazy world around her. Yeah, we're different in that she's got a very difficult background and, she's worked hard to get to where she is, which is not necessarily a safe, comfortable place. Um, so I can't relate to any of that, but like she is just trying to get along in this world around her, and I think we all are. Um, crazy times we're living in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in terms of developing the voice, was it just like up to your natural voice, like developing with the director?
Yeah, there was in the brief, there was a request for like two accent options, regional and then like RP, which is I don't know if you yeah, the RP, so a heightened version, which I guess I can be closer to anyway. So it's yeah, that's the choice I went for. And I think that's what we did in the session. I don't think there was much change because it's very similar to me and yeah, it worked apparently. So mm.
Was there a default line that you had to get into her headspace?
I don't think so. I mean, my session, I think it was just one day for this. Um, but like I was saying earlier, there's one line that I liked, which was about the cat and about consequences for doing anything to the cat, I think. I can't remember the line, but yeah, I remember I liked that line.
Oh, for yeah, for her dog when it's when she meets the protagonist for the first time and they're both inside her shop and then the dog barks and then she's like, "You didn't hear anything." Like, like
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. If you, yeah, something about what you think you might have heard. Yeah, there's a lot of lines about, am I saying cat as well? The dog.
Yeah.
I've been saying cat. Yeah, it's been a while, sorry. Yeah, there's lots of fun lines around that, um, which I quite liked. Yeah.
Have you seen that I don't know if you know, but she's like the most popular character in the game.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, why?
Everyone was hoping that she was going to be playable and they just love her. They just love how she looks and they love her vulnerability.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't actually know that. But yeah, because this is the strange thing about we're so involved in it, as in like we are voicing the character, but then whilst you're doing the job, you don't even know what it's called. It's got like a project name or a code
Yeah.
name. And so then you kind of just find out what it is either just before it's been released or as it's released. And then I guess unless you do research on things, you don't really know what's going on, apart from the talk around it, because I've done some jobs where they're huge after it's been released. And we had no idea whilst we were recording it that it was going to be so big. Um, that's nice to know. But I did know that she wasn't playable. You just interact and she guides you and then you move on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. Ah, that's cool. That's very cool.
And of course, everyone's a big part to do with that is also your the performance you gave for her too. Everyone loves it.
Okay, great. I would hope that, yeah, you never know when you're doing these jobs if it's all going to come together and make a complete character that people like. So yeah, that's good.
Do you remember anything about the one of the final scenes with her where there's those two kids from the church that stole her dog and they she confronts them about trying to kill her?
Yes, she thinks that they've been sent
Yep.
to kill her, right? Um, does she get vulnerable within that? Or she lets them off or something like that? Yeah.
There's this really cool monologue where she breaks down um, the aftermath of what it would be like to kill someone and like living with that, and then she kind of takes them into her house.
Yes, and I think that's her first point of vulnerability, isn't it? When you see who she is on the inside, I think. Um yeah, I vaguely remember. I need to play it, don't I? That's the thing. On mute. Yeah. It's a cool character. She's a complex character. And I mean, I would say that it was a brief part in the game, but it's nice to be able to have an arc with a character that just features briefly and subtly. I did enjoy her a lot for that, the two sides.
Is there something that you would like to see happen with her character if she comes up again?
Just a whole game about her, seeing as people love her so much. um, I don't know, like I guess as well, like it's challenging my memory of what happens with her, but she was, does she have to remove herself from the church or something? Something where she can break away from her past and everything and just move forward in the move away from the things that she feels are taking her down the wrong path. Um, and be a bit of a hero herself with more than just a dog.
There are a lot of people asking too if you also have a dog.
I don't. And where, do you know what? I used to really, really want one. But the thing is, I want a huge dog. Like, I love Great Danes. In this apartment building that I'm in, there's a Great Dane, which I think is crazy because I met this dog at 6 months old and he was huge already. But we're in apartments, you know. I don't know where does he sit? Like, it's a tiny space. And so, you know, I know that the type of dog I want, I can't have. But there are also so many dogs around here. There's just so many. Um, so I don't think I need one,
Mm,
but I do like them.
mhm. That was one thing that a lot of people were really happy about, that it is revealed at the end of her storyline that the dog is still alive and saved.
Yeah. And has been taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Otherwise, she'd be destroyed, of
Mm.
course, and would destroy.
Do you think that she could ever I don't know, be in love or like be in a relationship in that way?
Um, she probably has some work to do, but everybody can be. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, all she wants is to be understood and taken care of herself. I think that's what the dog represents, you know. She's able to take care of and protect something which never happened to her. It was never, she never had that. So that's what she wants and needs. And I think that's why she's such a cold, hardened person because of her experience. And so yeah, love definitely could come in um if she's shown how.
Mhm.
Mm.
That is one of the other big highlights of her storyline, where um, the protagonist talks her out of just going and killing everybody that stole her dog, and then she has a breakdown, and like one of the lines is like, "Why won't you let me give up?" It's just so
Mm.
the writing is just so well done for her character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Gosh, I need to revisit these because yeah, it sounds great. It is really well written, and that's I really enjoyed it for that as well. Like there was a really nice, easy flow in recording this, I guess, because the story was so profound, you know, for her. Um, yeah, that's a cool line. Mm.
Have you seen all the things about being nominated for Game of the Year and all
I have, and like
that?
crazy. Yeah, it's but amazing. Um, it's a whole different world, isn't it? Like if you don't know about games, you completely miss all of this stuff, but it's so cool to be a part of it and see um yeah, everything that's going on. The fans are just amazing, like such a core, like a base underneath all of these games. Um yeah, it's a great world to be a part of and amazing that it's been nominated. Yeah.
That was one thing I was going to ask too, was if you've had much interaction with the fandom for the game.
I think you can tell. No. No, but I would love to. Yeah. Um, I do, for the different types of jobs that I do, like audio drama as well as games, um, the fans are hardcore and just great. Really, really nice. Um, People that are just looking to enjoy like all of these creations. So I'd love to interact. Yeah.
Is there anybody else that's in the cast that you're friends with?
No, I don't think so. And again, with games, most recording things, you're kind of on your own recording these things, so you don't really get to know. So once I had announced my role in it, somebody contacted me and said, "Oh, I know somebody who's done it," and then we connected. But yeah, nobody I knew before or nobody since that I've been connected with, made friends with and stuff.
Hmm.
We should, because yeah, it's a big, big project to be a part of.
Hmm.
Mm.
This might have been up to the director, but there were another comment that several people asked were just how you embodied her attitude so well.
We have similar attitude. But I said we didn't, didn't I earlier? Um, I don't know, like I like feisty characters, characters who own, what they do. I really enjoy that. So any character that comes along that's like that, I'm like, yes, I would do this. Um, yeah, I don't think there's anything that I like referenced for myself. But again, the writing is good as well. So
Hmm.
as soon as I saw the first lines for the audition, I was like, oh, she's got some spice, some flavor. And so yeah, it's easy to then just adopt that with the lines. Mm.
Was there anything that do you remember that surprised you about her?
Surprised me about her. I don't think so. It's hard to be surprised in these big fantasy worlds as well. When especially with some of the jobs that I've done where when you're being directed, it's kind of like line by line. You just run through all the lines, and the director says, okay, so now you're in a huge cave and there's a huge 15-foot spider coming towards you. And you say this line, go. Um, yeah, nothing surprises me, I guess, anymore. But I think I was interested by the dog storyline alongside it because it's a real contrast. Like it's very different to what she gives out, and then yeah, she's caring so much for this little other being. Um, that can be quite surprising, I guess.
Somebody asked though, what would you do if you were in the universe for the game?
What would I do as in like a job?
If you, well, if you were like part of the metaphor world.
I mean, I don't mind Brigitta's. She gets to be around everybody, the nobles and the normal civilians, and I mean, it's not, I guess, kind of selling weapons and things like that is not the best thing to do. But I don't really know what else.
Okay.
Anything to do with magic, fantasy. Yeah.
Hmm. Let's see. Um, yeah, I guess is there something that you want to say to the fandom for the game?
Just thank you. Always thank you for supporting um games, from the first idea of something being created until this point where it's been released and it's all complete. Like it's a huge task. I still can't get my head around how games are made, when there's so many different parts to it. But the fans really do hold all of these projects up, and they make it worth it after however long it might take. Um, And then after that, you've got all the small details. I guess you would call them small details of like liking how a character looks and that exciting them to play the game and their choices in interactions and things like that. It's yeah, great and very cool. So thank you for the interest and the like, the love, the support.
What do you think Brigitta would say to finding out about like a fan base for her?
Um, she would probably say that I don't do emotion, so don't get too emotionally attached. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
I suppose is metaphor like the most safest thing that you're part of that you can talk about in terms of like new things.
At the moment, yes. Yeah, it's the most recently announced. So yeah, and we'll see what the future announces and brings. Hopefully more of this because it's great. I love it.
So my final question is always asking, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh wow. My legacy. I guess a word that comes to mind is empathy. Like I think that as actors, you have to have like a natural, or you have a natural um link to empathy. And so I would like to all the little projects that I do, the jobs that I do that I leave behind, can like help people to understand the world, the people in it, all the different sides to life, all the different routes that we can take and how life can play out for many people and um yeah, help them understand that. Does that sound very serious? And
No, it's
um but also to enjoy, just to enjoy things. Yeah.
well, thank you. I'm glad that we got to do this.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was very cool.
Yeah. Hope you have a good rest of your day then.
You too. Thank you again.
Bye.
See you. Bye.